Hey everybody, this is Hocus and welcome back to another episode in the Minecraft single player LP series. I hope you're having a great day and a fantastic week. I know I am for the most part. It's been pretty smooth so far. It's Wednesday currently, so not sure when this video is going to go out, but I'll have this prepared by the end of the day, I hope, and we'll get it out at some point later this week. So things today are actually going to follow a little bit of a schedule for once. I've made a plan, which, as you guys know, is something I don't often do, and I will go through that with you in just a moment. But before we do take a look at the plan for today's episode, I've got a couple shulker boxes behind me. Right then, so what do we have here? Well, what we have here is something that is gonna feel maybe a little bit old school, like we are doing an activity that is slightly outdated, but I couldn't help myself but to do a little bit of branch mining recently. I don't know what it is about branch mining, but it just relaxes me. It's an easy task. It's mindless. You just dig straight forward, collect all of the ores, and I thought we'd go back to the basics and have a little display of what we were able to collect. So look at this. We managed to get 18 diamond ore and 21 diamonds, and this was just from a single branch. I didn't do more than one. I just dug in a completely straight line as far as I felt like going and collected all this stuff up. We also were in a little bit of need to restock redstone, so I'm glad we were able to get some of that. Coal, I'm probably just going to stick this into the smelter, and we've got some iron and gold. I'm thinking now that we won't smelt the iron or gold, we'll just leave it in ore form just in case we need it for building, because obviously we have the gold farm, we have the iron farm, they're producing at a good rate. I don't know what that was about, but kind of lost my breath for a second there. But we've got the ores that I'm going to keep this way, like I say. And then in the other chest is just everything else I was able to collect up. I got a little bit of gravel to restock with. We use that quite often to build. And then a bunch of stone, which again might come in handy for today's episode, and you will see why later on. Okay then guys, so I mentioned a plan for today's episode. We are in the location that we're going to be working in, so I wanted to come over to the village and add a little bit more to the place, because trading is actually so overpowered in Minecraft. It's something we should definitely be working towards sooner rather than later, so that we can expand the access to certain items in the game that we have. And I've just realized actually we probably need to add a slab right here. If you take a look at the roof pattern, it is incorrect, but I'll keep that in mind and hopefully get that changed if I remember to. But about the plan, let's read out exactly what I've written down. So it begins with LP episode 40, which it is episode 40 today, guys. It's another milestone hit, 40, 10 more till the world tour. Keep that in mind. So it says work on village, pathways, mason trades, and interiors. So I don't know if that means anything to you guys. Probably not. It doesn't even mean a lot to me, to be honest. I haven't put a lot of detail into the plan, but what I'm going to do is figure out an interior for these buildings, most likely this one behind me first of all, because I want to start having more villagers spawn in the village. And whilst I'm on that topic actually, this little area behind me, the circular area, is already producing new villagers, so that's good to see. You can see the baby coming out the door there, if that's not too far away. And then I've also written a couple of other things. So one more building, house or small church, question mark. So I'm going to probably build one more building in the village in today's episode. And then show mining outcome, we've already done that. Finally, I've written down potentially finish with more general path work if there is time. So I've actually maybe I'm going to reconsider the path design that we came up with at the end of the last episode to something a little bit more detailed and a little bit easier in the long run. So like I say, if I have time, we will revisit that concept at the end of this video. Let's take a look inside this building and see what we've got to work with. So the space is, I guess, sort of limited. And I guess we'll begin. I said I guess twice there. Not good. But we'll begin by removing the dirt and sand that is currently occupying the floor section. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail when it comes to these interiors. Realistically, all I need them for is beds so that the villagers can reproduce and create more villagers for us to take advantage of. And I use that term lightly. We're not going to abuse them, but we will be taking advantage of their trades. And like I say, this guy right here, the mason, we are going to come back to him at some point in the episode, but most likely after we've built the interior, because I want to have a few more masons in the village. So like I say, we'll make something simple and we'll place some beds down in here so that they can get to spawning some babies. I'm going to go with something simple. First of all, we will create a base layer of oak planks, and then I'm thinking of introducing some stripped oak logs somewhere. Now, I'm just trying to use the resources that we've got available to us, so maybe we'll just do it in a striped kind of pattern. So every other block will be replaced with some strip logs, and we'll see how that turns out. I'm sure it won't look too bad. Yeah, you know what? I can work with that, and I think even we might do something else. We might actually go ahead and change it up and have some vertical logs as well. So if we just interlace some like this, I wonder what that looks like. Any better than what we had? I can work with that, definitely. I can definitely work with that, but we will need to change anything else? No, that will be correct. Yep. Okay. Okay. I like it. Okay, so now to add some more beds to the village, and I've been thinking about what color we might want to use for the beds, because I usually like to theme it. I think light gray. I know I use light gray often, but I really think that'll work well with the textures we're using here and fit the theme that we've got going on. So I added these stairs as well so that this door is accessible to the villagers. They can exit and enter through this one if they prefer. Now, where am I going to place the beds? Let's think about this for a second. So maybe we'll have... I don't know, really, if this matters all that much, because like I say, the interiors of these houses are pretty much just going to be for the villagers to come in to sleep if they need to. Other than that, I'm probably not going to do too much with them. So this house is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I thought I had 6. Yes, I did. Okay, 6th bed will go maybe right there. Okay, this looks a little bit strange, I know, but like I say, there isn't too much purpose to the interiors of these buildings. I just need them to be able to sleep. And I figure as well that we'll probably want to do something about lighting. So let's maybe get some lanterns in here or something. Nice and simple. I've just surrounded the room with lanterns. We've got one at the top as well, across the banister type thing that we've got going on here. The support beam, whatever you want to call it. It does the trick. And I was thinking as well that maybe we will change the interiors as we develop the village. Maybe if there are enough houses to start spacing the beds out, we can add some extra detail. But for now, I'm just going to cram them full of beds and be done with it, I think, because we're not going to be spending too much time on the interiors of these buildings. The villagers obviously don't care either. But we just want to make sure that at the end of the day, it's not an ugly mess to look into. And although it looks disorganized, I think it'll work. So that's the interior done. We need to give the villagers some food so they can begin breeding. But I'll do that off camera. And in the meantime, we will move on to the next part of the plan, which is going to be... What is it going to be? So next up, and yep, I pretty much forgot my own plan already, which is awesome. Next up will be pathways in the village. Now, let's just take a look at this. We've got a little dude born, which is good to see. So the bed addition is obviously working. But for the pathways, I'm going to keep it nice and simple. We're just going to use the designated path blocks, hopefully not destroying too many like that. But this path is going to head, I think, in this direction. So I'm going to give it a general route that it's going to follow, because I want it to go past the blacksmith here. It's also going to head up towards the stairs here, so we'll make sure to connect that. And they're going to be generally about 3 wide, so we'll want to do something like this, and then it will come back this way and like this. And I'm just going to have it snake throughout the village. So as soon as we add new buildings, we'll connect them all up via pathway. So now we've got the general outlay. We want to think about filling in the middle. So this will be how it works. We'll just take out these blocks here. This might have to go. We'll continue like this. And it will give us something like this. I think we'll also do that as well, just to make sure that we are connecting everything up properly. Now I'm wondering, do we add a different texture into the path as well? Maybe that's something to consider, maybe some gravel or something similar. But other than that, we will probably just add some grass in and around the area once we've connected all of the paths up, because I don't want there to be too many positions where there's just grass like this, because that doesn't look too great in my opinion. And this right here is the extra detail that I was talking about. So we've got some grass. We're also going to go with some fences here and there with a bit of lighting on to provide lighting outside of the homes. Because again, something you need to consider is lighting up the outside area, because the villagers do take some time to retreat to their houses at night. So you don't want to risk anything spawning and taking them out before they can make it back to their bed. So it continues around this way. We've added an extra path that leads to the door over there. And again, we've got some more fences on the corners and such, and just a couple random pieces here and there with the lanterns on top for the lighting. And that leads right up to the back of the blacksmith here. And the interior here isn't yet complete, but the blacksmith might be one of the builds that we can actually put some detail into, because it wouldn't really make sense to have villagers sleeping in there, would it? I am still waiting on some of the villagers to grow up so that I can make them into some further Masons. We need more masons because I am going to show you that you can pretty much not exploit, because I guess it is part of the game, but once you get to this position where you can create beacons and have haste mines and just stockpile a bunch of stone, which okay, good. I was about to say, I wonder where it all went, but it's okay, we've got some. So I'm going to show you that masons are great for making emeralds because they will trade stone, all types of stone with you, including granite and diorite. They will also trade andesite. I probably won't trade any andesite because I do use it, but granite and diorite I rarely ever use to build. So should be okay to start trading that. There's more stone here that we can get rid of. But I just kind of wanted to demonstrate that this is a good way to make emeralds. So once those guys have grown and I've got them converted into masons and we've got a few more to work with, I will show you these trades and show you just how fruitful they can be. Awesome. So we got ourselves a second mason. This guy right here is the new one. You can tell that because their belt has different colors for the tier. See, this guy's got the diamond on his belt, and that means he's a master. So he's unlocked every single trade available, I believe. And this guy is a novice, so he is ready to make trades in order to unlock new ones. Now, he hasn't got access to the trades I'm looking for at the moment, so we're going to have to do a few of these beginner trades. But brick is always useful, so I'll take some of that off of his hands. And we can actually demonstrate on this guy what we're going to do with the stone here because, oh, got our first iron golem as well. Awesome. But this guy here has the trades that we're looking into. So he will give us 1 emerald for 20 stone or 1 emerald for 16 granite or 16 diorite. So we have brought a bunch of this stuff over with us. Let's grab a few of them out of the chest and make use of these pretty, well, I don't know if they're broken or not, but you know, like I say, when you've got haste mines set up, it's so easy to get your hands on these kind of things that you can make 32 emeralds like that off of 8 stacks of items. Now we'll come back to this guy and we will level him up like so. Give him a chance to get his new trades. All right, and when you see those purple particles, that means he's unlocked new trades and he is willing to trade stone with us. So let's grab some of that from the chests here and see what we can make from him. So here we go. That was a little bit too far. I leveled him up ages ago, but didn't let the trades update. So let's let that happen. And you can see his belt color is updating. He's to gold now, which means he's a journeyman. And he will give us some emeralds for diorite. So again, we'll grab the diorite and we will level him up. See where we can take this guy. Okay, that will take him to the next level. And let's see what that unlocks. Oh, he's now emerald, which means he's an expert. And now he will trade brown terracotta, purple terracotta, and polished granite. But we're going to stick to this trade right here and take him to the max level, I believe. Yep, there we go. He's got his diamond belt. Let's make sure we're on the right guy here. Can you two stay away from each other? Thank you. And now he will trade us quartz and quartz pillars, which is very useful because quartz is something that takes a while to mine. So instead of mining it, we can just come here and trade 1 for 1 with emeralds. But you can see how quickly we can generate emeralds using these trades. It's very simple, very easy. And like I say, as soon as you get access to that haste mine, you'll have a bunch of these blocks to trade. Any big project that requires a lot of digging, you can just funnel the items right into these guys and they'll just give you emeralds for such basic items. It's awesome. Okay, so I will continue to trade with the masons over time, but we're kind of done with that demonstration. So that means that the plan now says we need to move on to building another building here in the village. And I think I'm going to go for a church. I've seen a few designs I quite like, but the issue I'm facing at the moment is that the terrain around here is kind of difficult to work with, so I haven't got a flat area to build it on. So I think we're going to have to make one for ourselves, which is going to be quite simple because this area here can easily be patched over where the water is. So I'm going to quickly take care of that. All right, so I've got kind of a template on the go here. This is the basis of the design itself. So the church, I believe in total, is going to be 7 wide by 11 deep. So it's going to be a very, very small church, but that's okay. I'm going to try and give it as much detail as possible. And like I said, I don't want it to be something massive because I think the big build here will probably be the trading hall that we eventually build. I'm planning to have that on the far side of this circular area. So we don't want anything that's going to overpower that. And this build here was almost big enough, right? It's very detailed, but that's what we want to do here with the church also. So what I'm going to do now is work on perfecting this side of the church before we move on so that you guys can get a general idea about how this is going to go. This is the general idea that we're going to be going for. So a similar block palette to what we have been using already. We've got the cobblestone, stone brick, cracked stone brick, regular stone, and then finally some andesite mixed in there as well. So, you know, with churches, they generally have those tall, slim, skinny windows. We've got one of those on the front here, but this is not going to be where the entrance is. The entrance will either be here or on the following side here. I haven't decided just yet. Probably here, just because there isn't a lot of space on this side. But we will incorporate that as we build. But for now, I'm just going to continue. Like I say, going to try and incorporate as much detail as possible. So we'll probably work from here this way now. And actually, this wall will probably move inside by 1 block. So this church is going to be even smaller than I first mentioned, because we want these pillars here to kind of stick out. Again, it's going to be like depth, detail for the build. It's going to be support, I suppose. You don't need support in Minecraft, but it's always good to consider those things. So these walls will come in by 1 block, and overall it will probably be 7 wide still, because like I say, we'll have bits and pieces sticking out. But this church doesn't need to be too big at all. It might contain some workstations, and that is going to be about it. So the space inside really doesn't need to be all that big. Making decent progress. So I've got a window now on this side and something similar on the other. We'll go take a quick look, even though it is pretty much identical. So we've got this nice little 2 wide window with the trapdoor shutter on the side. Right here is going to be the entrance. So I did decide to put it the water side of the build, but we'll have something similar on the other side. It won't be an entrance, but I'll kind of build up and maybe put a window in there. But what I wanted to do together on camera here is make something that looks a little bit different to the regular pattern over the door, since it's going to be an entrance. We want it to stand out. So we'll begin by rotating the stairs. And then I think what we'll do is we'll actually come in with some more stairs. So maybe let's switch it up to stone brick and have them upside down, like so. And then on this side, what are we going to go with? Potentially cobblestone might be a good choice. So we'll flip those and put some cobblestone in. And then... no, that's not quite right, is it? Let's maybe get 1 more stair in the middle, something like that, perhaps. And then on top of that, we'll go with some more stairs. And then to complete this, we might go ahead and do that. And we'll get 1 more slab on the following side. Is stone going to be a good choice? I think stone slab might work there. Yep. Actually, no, it won't, will it? Because we've already got stone stairs. Let's go with andesite instead then. Let's try that out. How's that? That looks kind of flat, doesn't it? Maybe not what I was going for. Let's try something else. Okay, I'm still a little bit unsure, but this is certainly a better transition than what we had. It slopes a little bit more evenly. Doesn't look as stumpy. There might be a few more details to throw in there eventually if I think of some, but for now we're going to stick with this and just see what it looks like with the roof on. So before we do put the roof on, we're going to have to build up this wall here and then the backside wall. And that will just leave 1 more thing, which is going to be a little mini bell tower that I'm going to put at the top. So let's get on with that, because the episode is nearing a close and I need to have this finished before we do close it up. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Didn't know where to finish the sentence there, but let's get on with the build. Looking good so far, if I do say so myself. Now, all of the walls are built up. The walls, not the walls, the walls. They're built up, so it is time for the roof. And it's going to be very simple, like I say. So we'll implement the roof. Hopefully it will make this entrance look a bit better than it is, because at the moment, for some reason, every time I look at it, it just feels like there's something wrong with it. But we can try to correct that anyway. So it doesn't really matter. But like I say, very simple. We're going to begin right here. And we'll want to make haste here so I can get the idea out before it does turn dark. And then it's going to just be a roof that steps up every single block. So we'll have 1 there. And then again, it will come up here until it just meets in a center point. So it's going to be really, really simple. But then, as I did mention earlier, we're going to try to add a little bit of a bell tower on top in the end. So let me finish this part up. Then we will delve into that bell tower and see what we can do with it with the limited space that we're working with. Okie dokie. So the roof is on. And again, it does definitely add to the build. I love the contrast between spruce and the gray textures. Looks really good. And there will be a bell tower to come in just a moment. But before we do that, let's take care of something a little bit more simple. And actually, you know what? There's a couple details I need to go over. So I've added a lantern to each side of the build, like so. And I also put a little spire at the top of the front end and the back end, because again, I'm pretty sure that's something that's quite common on churches. So I've done it. I don't know, it looks good. So on the inside, the simple thing that we're going to take care of is the flooring. And I think I'm going to just stick with that same design. So we'll begin with some oak planks. And then once the oak planks are in, we will mix in some stripped oak logs like so. And finally, bang down the center of the room, we'll have some more stripped oak logs, but they will be placed vertically and interlaced amongst the existing logs. And I think, again, that looks really good. So this will be the entrance here. And just to reiterate, the idea behind the church is that we're probably going to place some brewing stands in here so that we can have some clerics. I'm not going to do any interior design in here. It's far too small, but it will be enough room for the clerics to have their workstations possibly. So we'll think about what we're going to do with that further down the road, because clerics aren't as important to me at the moment as other professions. So we'll leave the clerics out of it for now. But let's get that bell tower built. Let's finish the bell tower up. So it's only a tiny little thing, right? It's going to look pretty cool though. And we do have the bell that we scavenged from the village earlier on. We ring it. Does it actually do anything from this range? Doesn't look like it. Guys, I'm ringing the bell. Yeah, they don't want to know, do they? Does this opens up into the church? I think so. Let's actually go inside and take a look at this from down below, because I haven't done that just yet. Not that I really care too much about the looks from the inside, but we will just make sure it's okay. Oh yeah, look at that. That's cool. That's pretty much how church bells are, right? There should be a huge rope that comes all the way down to the center of the room that you can pull. But unfortunately, Minecraft does not have that item at the moment. But you never know. Sometime in the future, it could get added. I very much doubt it, but you never know. So that's the bell tower done. Now, I think the pathway situation that I mentioned from my plan, this mouse button is definitely gone. It's already been a bit funny, but it's getting worse. That path idea that I mentioned about establishing a different path design, I looked again at those paths that we built in the last episode, and I actually do quite like them. So I don't think we're going to do that today, or at least I'm going to think about it a little bit more. So what I'm going to do to finish up today is to run the path here over to the church. So we'll have a path that leads over to the church. We'll do a little bit more design work. There might be a couple more details that I'll add to the church, but I'll probably do all of that right now off camera. We'll take a look at it together, and then we will close out episode 40 of the LP series. All right then, guys, so things do look a little bit different. I decided to install some shaders to take a final look today at the village in its current state. So these are Silder's shaders, by the way, if you're wondering. I always use Silder's most of the time just because I quite like the way they look. They're not too intense, and they do definitely give the game a more vibrant feel. But let's take a walk through the village. So on the left side here, we've got the house, so we can peek inside there, see the beds and such. And then on the right hand side, we've got our blacksmith, which does, hey, the population of the village is growing, by the way, which does include the blacksmith here. It does include a workstation for a leather worker as well. So I guess you could call this the leather worker blacksmith thing. It does something. And then over here, we've got, of course, the church that we built today. So I've got a little pathway now that leads over to the door, which is right here. We can head inside. It's very dark at the moment. I'm going to just put some torches in here for the time being so that we can avoid spawns. But from the outside, everything, I think, looks great, especially with these shaders on. Shaders do make the game look amazing, but they don't quite do it for me if I'm going to be playing for extended periods of time. That's why I don't often use them. But look at the shadows. Look at the lighting. It looks amazing. It does really make things look a lot better. And I am pleased with how the church turned out. Let's actually get a look from the other side here of the village so that we can see that everything's okay. By the way, our golem kind of fell into the pit there, so he's going to be useless. But yeah, this is really great. The smoke looks good. The lighting looks amazing. The sun beaming across the village looks just, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's great. I think we did a really good job today with the church, and I can't wait to keep adding to this village. I always do love building, and this is one of those big building projects. Linking everything up with paths as well always looks very good. So very pleased with what we've got done today. Alright then, guys, that is going to be all for another episode of the LP series. That is number 40 out of the way, and like I say, 10 more until the next world tour. I know a bunch of you guys have been asking for it, but I'm gonna have to do them every 25 episodes. It's just too much to stay on top of if I'm creating world downloads more frequently than that. So every 25 is going to be the way it stays for now, and I will update the link in the description, you know, every time we do have a new world tour so that you guys can come and check it out for yourself. So if you did enjoy today's episode, then please be sure to drop a like down below. That would be much appreciated. Any questions, suggestions, comments, or feedback should go down in the comment section below. I'll be sure to read all of them and respond to as many as I feel require a response. And then finally, if you're new around here, then first of all, welcome. My name's Hocus. I hope you enjoyed your stay on the channel today. If you did, then please be sure to consider extending it by hitting the subscribe button down below. That would be awesome if you could do that for me. And that pretty much closes out my my final words for today. So guys, enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great weekend, and I will see you with more content next week. Take care. Bye bye.